The northern wind carried a silence older than memory.
The village slept beneath a sky that slowly turned red. The moon began to change, and no one spoke. The old warriors felt the omen before the others. Ravens gathered quietly along the frozen trees. Fire burned low as shadows stretched across the ground. The sky darkened, and the red moon rose slowly. The wind moved through the wooden houses. The villagers stepped outside without a word.
The seeress emerged from the longhouse in silence, her staff carved with symbols older than kings.
The fire circle waited beneath the crimson sky. The people gathered around the ancient stones. No one spoke, yet everyone understood. The red moon hung above the northern hills. The ravens circled like silent witnesses. The wind whispered through the sacred ground. The ritual began as the fire grew stronger. The seeress stepped forward into the circle.
Her voice rose, low and ancient.
The villagers bowed their heads slowly.
The wind carried the sound into darkness.
The ground felt colder beneath their feet.
The red moon climbed higher in silence.
The chanting
Echoed through the forest. The wind carried the sound into darkness. The ancient stones watched in silence. The flames danced in the northern air.
The ritual deepened with every breath.
The sky turned darker than before.
The moon slowly vanished into shadow.
The ravens took flight above the circle.
The villagers tightened their formation.
The fire roared against the rising wind.
The earth seemed to hold its breath.
The chanting grew deeper and slower.
The shadows stretched across the ground. The red moon faded behind darkness. Silence fell across the sacred hill. The wind passed through the trees. The seeress lowered her voice.
The flames trembled in the night. The moment stood still in time.
The moon disappeared completely.
Darkness surrounded the village.
The chanting reached its peak.
The ravens cried into the sky. The wind rushed through the fire.
The seeress
Lifted her voice to the sky.
The sky remained dark and silent.
The fire cast shadows across the stones. The final chant rose into the...
The ravens circled above the hill.
The flames surged toward.
The seeress raised her staff to the darkness.
The sky remained frozen in darkness.
The firelight pulsed across the circle.
The chanting slowly began to fade.
A faint light returned to the sky.
The moon slowly returned from shadow.
The silence settled over the circle. The flames slowly calmed. The villagers slowly lifted their heads. The night slowly breathed again.
The circle slowly began to break.
They walked away from the sacred ground. The sacred circle stood empty once more.
The northern night returned to silence.
Dawn slowly spread across the hills.
The sacred hill rested in morning light. The northern land returned to peace. The ritual faded into the northern winds.